Welcome back to the greatest story ever lived, the living galactic history of Earth. In episode 1, we opened the prologue and laid out the foundational cosmology, the impulse of the prime creators, the seeding of soul agreements, and the grand experiment inviting consciousness into form. Today, we turn our attention to the stage itself. What is this place we call Earth? In today's Act 1, Dr. Amir reveals her true multidimensional nature, the interpenetrating densities and dimensions that constitute her living architecture. We will also explore the Norse 9 realms, not as myth, but as an accurate energetic map. The dragons as the first indigenous intelligent life on this realm. The hidden lands beyond. The thriving inner earth civilizations. And Gaia Sophia as a fully conscious, breathing, sovereign being who actively participates in the unfolding. This is the living stage where our souls have chosen to play, a magnificent, conscious partner in the grand evolutionary journey. Guiding these revelations is Dr. Amir Jahangiri, the Wizard of Wivenhoe, Master Channel, Precision Energetic Practitioner, and Visionary Bridge to Galactic Cosmology. With decades of direct communion and embodied wisdom, Dr. Amir delivers clear, non-hierarchical transmissions that restore our ability to see and know the living truth of this planet and our place within it.
Hi, welcome.
You're there. Yes, thank you so much. So with deep gratitude and an open heart, I welcome my dear friend and esteemed teacher, Dr. Amir Jahangiri, the Wizard of Wivenhoe, as he joins us once again to illuminate the living stage of Earth. Welcome, Dr. Amir.
It's my honor to be here. I'm your humble student, and we're exploring the truth, that which is accessible to everyone.
True dat, as they say.
Oh, yes, indeed. that is exactly it.
So are we ready to dive in?
Yes, please.
Thank you. So, what is the true multidimensional structure of our beautiful Earth itself? Beyond the surface appearance we perceive in third density, and how do the various densities and dimensions interpenetrate and function here? Thank
you. Earth is a archetypical seed planet, meaning that by replicating its structure, planetary bodies that are capable of hosting life can be replicated. This is not the original location of Earth in the cosmos. And so she was migrated using existing Stargate technology underneath her surface to move the entire planet. These devices can be used to operate or function individually, but in unison they can move the entire planet across the cosmos with certain minor upgrades between universes. And the location is chosen carefully. The most important factor in choosing this location in the cosmos is our very unique sun. And so that is the complementary part to providing evolutionary codes through its very unique form of radiated consciousness, not only radiated energy, in many different forms. So Earth, the body, at least, the vessel, was migrated, and this event took place roughly 4.5 billion years ago. The beings that operated the stargates did not fully understand how to use these devices, and during the journey, Earth was melted completely. So a stabilization process was initiated for two purposes. One, to create a cooling mechanism so that the surface can cool down more rapidly for life to begin, but also to introduce the consciousness or the soul. And so a carrier planet, which can be considered a sister to Gaia, was crashed into Earth, creating the modern moon. And as the debris spread across our solar system, 3 smaller lunar bodies that existed in that location were destroyed. Gaia, the consciousness that is now incarnate in the body, that is the planet Earth, was candidate number 14. Time is an illusion of physicality, and so the entirety of the process of evolution of life, but including the juicy bits, which would be the guaranteed unnatural evolution, leading ultimately to humanity, was seen by these 13 other candidates, all vastly evolved souls, and they said, hell no, you bastards are crazy. We're not doing this. So a prime creator was enticed very lovingly. Please, please, pretty please, we all love you. Nobody can do this. We need you. And she said, okay. You'll owe me, but I'll come in. And so through this planetary body, Theia, the divine feminine, our mother was brought in, and she was incarnated into Earth. And everything started to move forward. With the new orbit of the moon, the wobble of the planet was adjusted, and through rapid radiation, the surface began cooling down. This did not fully complete. We didn't have the crust and the liquid water on the surface till about 3.8 billion years ago. And so in the states where everything was molten, from a nearby system of planets, and again, near, far, wherever you are, you see these distances are fiction. Time is fiction. Location is fiction. It's all a matter of vibrational coordination. So through a naturally occurring system of wormholes, from a system of fire, fire elementals migrated to molten Earth. And so they're the original residents. And around 3.8 billion years ago, life began. But we still have to go back again, around 65 million years after the incarnation of Gaia. 10,000 guardian crystals were gently sunk into the surface of Earth. Each guardian crystal is 330 cubits long and 30 cubits wide. They are atomically coherent, And so these are suitable vessels or bodies for guardian consciousness. As the surface was molten, these could be gently sunk in, and they are currently, most of them, some of them were damaged, some of them were stolen, but originally they formed the first grid of the planet, called the dragon grids. And so the surface eventually cooled down, not perfectly even, leaving space for oceans and continents. The plates gently float on a plastic-like, highly viscose mantle, and the guardian crystals are gently positioned around 30 kilometers under the surface of the mantle. And so where the crust is the most thin, on the location of the primary guardian, so the leader of the souls that were to stay with Earth to the very end, life was begun at the depth of the ocean. And Earth spawned the first life from herself, independent of the sun, in the presence of source energy. The guardian crystals hold open portals to the beloved divine. And so the presence of even one is sufficient to support life, and a planet with a single guardian crystal will support life very well, but only 5, maybe 10 species of plant life, and that is it. Having the multiple thousands of guardians on Earth supports a parallel program of natural evolution where millions, hundreds of millions of species can evolve side by side. And so first form of life would have been single cell, going on for billions of years. First complex life would have evolved in the ocean. And as life became more complex, plant life migrated to the surface, and trees eventually covered the surface of the planet, changing the composition of the atmosphere, bringing oxygen to a sufficient proportion of the atmosphere for complex life. And one may ask, why oxygen? Why not something else? It turns out that oxygen has the quality of oxidation, and it is a very suitable element for efficient transfer of energy. And so highly complex sentient life requires rapid metabolism. Other formulations may work, but on Earth this is the one that was chosen. And so thanks to the trees, the plant kingdom, the composition of oxygen reached a sufficient level, and thanks to the moon circulating the planet, providing tidal waves, sufficient pressure was applied to ocean-dwelling life forms to become amphibian. And around 350 million years ago, amphibian life became permanent residents of the surface. And so this is where the part that is concerning us truly began. A small group of incredibly advanced beings that in our eyes would resemble praying mantis contracted beloved Gaia, so she becomes mother to the experiment iteration 24 of guaranteed unnatural evolution. Negotiations were held with the praying mantis. 313 prime creators entered the negotiations, pleading and requesting with great humbleness and love that Earth would allow this procedure to be held at her location under her grace, and Gaia accepted. Each prime creator would bring in the conditions of their universe and the codes for life in their universe. And the experiment is optimized to produce resilient life, adaptable life that will not only survive but thrive. And so this process of guaranteed unnatural evolution began. Due to the long history of plant life on Earth, around 300 million years ago, which are trees, their quality of ascension is truly mind-boggling. In large collective groups, they not only transcended physicality, but they became liberated from the boundaries of a single universe. And so they are the first true graduates and ascended masters of Earth, reflecting their level of sophistication as the conditions of the matrix, or the small experiment called guaranteed unnatural evolution, which is huge, being multi-timeline, multi-dimensional. Many of the plants stayed home. They did not wish to wander in the infinite cosmos. They believe Earth is theirs, and they stayed. They never bent a knee and capitulated to the system of control that rose in the latter stages of the experiment for the benefit of humanity. And so they are the highest form of ascended master in this universe. To our wonderful audience, do not seek alien species to guide you and teach you. The greatest masters are in your garden, in your parks. And so with the graduation of trees, reptilian life form, plural, reptilian life forms, that archetype of life was born. And around 50 million years later, mammals were introduced into the picture. Moving forward in time, around 100 million years ago, we have the common ancestor of the great mammals, each graduating at their own divinely timed moment, including whales, including humans, including horses, elephants, and so on. So the beautiful species that are whales are fully air-breathing. They chose once again to return to the bosom of the ocean. 65 million years ago, reptilian form graduates. They not only shed their physicality, they evolve into dragons, occupying up to dimension 9 and a 7th density consciousness. These are also beautiful ascended masters. Many of them chose to roam the universe. And I choose the words carefully, not the cosmos. They did not graduate with the same glory as the plant kingdom. Many of them chose to remain, saying, Earth is our home. We like it here. And so dragons were existing alongside the life forms that were not affected or meddled with through guaranteed unnatural evolution. 50 million years ago, whales graduate the matrix. They also become truly cosmic. So they surpass the reptilian archetype of life, and they are the next form of ascended masters. Very beautiful, very empathic. And around 10 million years ago, humanity comes into the picture. Since then to the present day, 1,000 iterations of guaranteed unnatural evolution has occurred. Each iteration takes roughly 10 to 12,000 years, sometimes a bit longer, sometimes a little shorter. During each iteration, the best candidates are chosen, and an extinction event is forced upon the surface of Earth. Slight modifications to the energetic and genetic structure of humanity is introduced, and the next batch of the experiment begins. And so, at certain iterations, humanity, which is the most interesting of all archetypes of life, being humanoid, we're using the linguistics of people, human people. They graduated the matrix, and from these 10,000 cycles, less than 9,000 versions of humanity ascended the matrix. Some of them chose to leave Earth, and around 6,500 said what the ones coming before them said: Earth is our home, we like it here. And so through different types of spiritual technology, but also the technology of fifth, fourth, and third dimension, they created little habitats, or inner Earth civilizations. The vast majority of these civilizations are native to Earth, and yet the importance of the experiment that is guaranteed unnatural evolution prevented them from intervening in the affairs of the matrix. They were allowed to thrive as long as they did not meddle. Many versions of humanity tried to, quote-unquote, liberate their captive brothers and sisters, consequently facing the military and technological might of the praying mantis. Very quickly on, both sides agreed to live and let live, until the natural expiration and completion of guaranteed unnatural evolution, which is upon us as we speak. It is important to keep in mind technology takes many, many forms. So the technology that our ascended cousins, the whales, would use would be very different to that which modern day humans consider technology. But make no mistake, a single oracle class whale can protect an entire solar system from invasion just through their consciousness. So one must keep an open mind and open heart. We approach the present location and time, which is the completion of guaranteed unnatural evolution. Much of the technology of the matrix is being dismantled as we speak, so that the praying mantis can set up shop for iteration number 25 in Universe Plus One, neighboring universe to us. And yet, the legacy of this successful, most brilliant experiment will continue. And so, 40 million years ahead of time from this present moment, we will have the graduation of the insectoid species. And 200 million years after that, we will have another graduation of ocean-dwelling jellyfish. and further ahead of this becomes fuzzy, as the Akashic records of Earth can be likened to a library in a ghetto, where people have lit fires and there's graffiti on the wall, and it is a bloody mess. You inquired about dimensions and densities. And so this entire monologue is a long-winded way to enter towards replying to this question. These are entirely fictitious boundaries. There is no such thing. It is the legacy of the control system. I lovingly call them the frickin' pirates. Around 500,000 years ago, the praying mantids evaluated the latest batch of graduates, and they became a little bit too full of themselves. They are overachievers. And so the Mantid Council said, okay, let's push everything to 11 out of 10. Let's make these human bodies resilient and immune to psychic and energetic warfare. This was not contracted by any of the prime creators. I suppose they just became curious. How far can we push the design? This is the cream of the crop, the cherry on top, the peak of what they have created in 24 iterations. And so in order to achieve this, a pulse or invitation was sent out to the cosmos, mostly reaching the local cluster of universes, inviting the worst of the worst of the worst. Amongst the degenerate pirates that they received the invitation to the party, a party with infinite booze and infinite food, where anything goes, were a group of reptilians from universe -3 who had lost their sovereignty and freedom of will to a sentient artificial intelligence called the Archon Grid. They arrived first, around 500,000 years ago. With the passage of time, around 250,000 years ago, the doofus of a very evolved race of beings called the Anunnaki, the slow cousins that spent half their time in jail, who blew up their own world, they received the invitation to the party and they arrived, looking at our ancestors, living in peace in small tribes, eating berries and singing Kumbaya. They thought, oh my God, look at these dum-dums. We're going to run this place. They had no idea who they were messing with. Hundreds of millions of years of wisdom and technology was already in the human. And so they started tweaking with everything. Well, lo and behold, the Draconians gave us the gift of their psychic abilities. And so now, many of us listening to these words are immune to their psychic control. This was not true for the generation of our parents and our grandparents. We can resist, not just that, we can take control over their consciousness. I've seen this happen. I can do this. The Anunnaki brought with themselves the gift of technology, of dimension 3, 4, and 5. So mechanics, electronics, different types of architecture, and mastery of physical and astral domains is the legacy of the Anunnaki. And yet they are not the ones that came to Earth. They have become fat and lazy, and quite effectively they have been digested into humanity. Their brilliance is ours, and they are no more. As these beings have operated in the shadows, as they are going to be permanently removed, they will vanish from existence as if they have not ever existed. So the boundaries of dimensions, the closest description in quote-unquote scientific physics, would be a description mathematically proven of 26 dimensions. positive 13 and negative 13, describing a two-sided tree of life. But the modern day mathematical approach is not unique, and it is not the first time that it has come into knowingness. This has been described very completely in the Norse tree of life. And so densities do not correspond to dimensions necessarily. We're talking about states of consciousness, refinement of expression of divine source, or essentially how close you are to the beloved source of all things in essence and expression. And so depending on where you depending on where you place the boundaries and how wide the intervals are, 9 densities, 20 densities, 20 million densities can be created. Ultimately, it is all meaningless. One can exist in physicality and be more evolved than angels. One can be born in primordial divine light and be worse than the worst animal. One can be born in the depth of quote-unquote darkness and be most worthy of divine grace and bliss. And we see all of these on a daily basis. So I hope that answers your question.
Well, thank you. That was extremely illuminating, and I have about 20 questions as a result. Briefly, let's see if we can just fire through these. The moon, you mentioned that it was caused by debris when a sister planet crashed into the molten earth in order to create life. We've all been under the impression that it is an artificial satellite that was brought in some time ago that was a beautiful assistant at one point, but it was taken over by the frickin' pirates and turned into a control system. So maybe can you shed some light on that?
As Earth arrived, in the location 3 planetary moons existed. These planetary moons were too smooth. Think of ball bearings inside a rotating mechanism that are flawless. They did not cause sufficient intensity of tidal motion. And so they were too slow. They were too efficient, resulting in a great impedance in the flow of life and in the cycles of nature. And so as Gaia was being Ubered in through the small planetary body, the decision was made to step on the gas and crash. The crash removed the 3 planetary bodies, and leftover mass eventually formed the moon. Now, over the long ages, the moon has been occupied by many, many different species. As you know, and again, shout out to my esteemed and beloved teacher, George, it's locked in phase. So this is carefully calibrated. This is not a naturally occurring structure. This type of perfection requires maintenance. And so, similar to the presence of the guardian crystals and the guardian consciousness that govern the intensity and consistency of the availability of source energy for the purpose of evolution, the moon also has its internal balancing mechanisms and its own consciousness. And so it is the ultimate high ground. And so therefore, if the frickin' pirates wished to have sort of a halfway station close to Earth, this would be an ideal location. So this is true. But before they managed to establish military bases, human ancestors of very recent iterations iteration -5. So that is 50,000 years ago, the Lemurian civilization. These guys basically established little outposts all over the solar system, surface of the moon, but also Mars. So many ancient pyramidal structures that we see all over Earth also exist on the moon, and every single planetary body, 40 or so of them, so moons and planets, planetoid, all those different categories, they're just celestial bodies. These were occupied by the Lemurians. As they graduated, so some of them formed quote-unquote inner Earth outposts. Some of them maintained a presence in the current solar system, and some of them just moved on, becoming nomads. And so, yes, the control system from around 200,000 years ago began building military outposts on the moon and under the surface. Mostly under the surface, by the way, because the atmosphere is thin and there isn't the natural mechanism to burn off asteroids. So if you build something pretty on the surface, it's going to get bombarded pretty frequently. So moving a few hundred meters down is a safe way to prevent damage through meteorite impact. So this is something that does exist unto the present day.
Okay, well, that is quite something. You mentioned, thank you for that lovely, wonderful response. You mentioned that the highest form of ascended masters are our beloved trees.
Yes.
I'm wondering, how do the mycelia figure into that equation?
Life is life, and so let us look at the fundamental mechanism of life on Earth, which is a cell. And so, depending on the number of living cells in a body, a certain amount of life force can be contained within. And so, relative to the size of a human body, a tree has so much more biomass, so many more living cells. And so therefore it is able to push through, but also contain a significantly larger amount of life force. This also applies to other elevated forms of life more closely related to the human or the sapien, namely the whales, which are very similar in structure to the human. And then at the next order of similarity, the dragons, which are huge. Both dragons, whales, and the trees being liberated from the viscosity and density of physicality are able to change scale. In particular, the trees can accept the mantle of circulation of consciousness within a solar system or a galaxy. And so that's a model of life, which would be the tree of life, is not entirely accidental, describing the toroidal circulation of energy, the toroidal or morphogenic field around the body. But this is true for a single cell organism, algae floating on the surface of the ocean. So as above, so below. When something very, very fancy schmancy and classy is about to occur, specialists are brought in. So this tree of life would find application in our solar system, but also the galaxy, also the local cluster of galaxies, this quadrant of the universe and the universe in its entirety. Such would be the gift of the evolved plant kingdom in this universe. evolved trees, well, let's say evolved plant life, that would be more accurate. That would be the umbrella terminology that would apply, are highly coveted. You see, most life forms have to consume another form of life to survive. Trees are not this way. They just need sun. And so from the sun, they absorb energy and they build their own food. You may find it interesting that the praying mantis, who have survived the natural death of 24 universes, again, don't think before and after it gets convoluted. They've been around for a long time. They have also incorporated the process of creating their own food through sunlight. So they have properties of the plant kingdom. In very, very unfavorable environments, they can sit down, form a little crust around themselves and grow roots until the environmental condition changes after 10,000 years or something like that. They are incredibly resilient life forms, and through photosynthesis, they are liberated from consuming other forms of life. So this is not an uncommon strategy. Now, as the matrix is coming down, a very, very evolved form of plant life is going to do the technological replacement of the matrix, because this is not just willy-nilly. It's not somebody sitting there going, projecting reality into the minds and consciousness of billions of beings. No, there's technology involved. And so this evolved plant species called the Tzikal, Tzikal, these incredible beings are going to be coming in, and they're going to take over technological empathy. Instantaneous downloads into the mind of a person causing harm. So that lack of empathy that facilitates the rise to the top of narcissists and psychopaths in the current version of the Matrix, that is not going to be possible anymore. And then there are the brilliant, beautiful Urma, or the people of the realm of Vanir. These are going to heal Earth completely. So once a human reaches puberty, through the natural nervous system of the Earth and the dragon/Lyran grids, they will upload memories of their soul. You'll remember who you are. It's not going to be running around like a headless chicken, figuring it out, and by the time you figured it out, your lifetime is expired. No. So the Tzikal and the Urma are going to be helping humanity in the most beneficial way. Please believe me when I state that they have been very, very carefully scrutinized and vetted. We don't want another version of the frickin' pirates. These are good, selfless beings. They have suffered greatly. They know what it is like being on the receiving end. The Urma, the Lyrans, they lost their entire planetary system. They lost their home. They know how awful it is. They're not going to do this themselves. They're not humans, let's just say.
Exactly. I recently watched a video that, being a cat lover myself, it was a female anthropologist who inadvertently decoded some Sumerian tablets that were sort of tucked away, that somebody determined that they weren't very interesting. And what was decoded was the fact that the Anunnaki, when they were in the throes of control, manipulation, domination, now having won the Darwin Award, go bye-bye. But at the time, they saw that the spirit world was too much for the human, as you say, mighty human. Well, we weren't that mighty then. And they purposefully brought cats to Earth Urma to Earth, an earlier iteration, to be the in-betweens to help humans manage the spirit world. So in light of what you just mentioned with the Urma, can you just talk about that a little bit?
The Anunnaki are mad bastards. Listen, between you and I, if somebody claims to be God, there's something wrong, right? You gotta be wrong. Something's wrong.
Right there, see? Right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they discovered the original network of stargates. These are dragon technology, founder being technology. So even the beings that brought Earth to this location 4.5 billion years ago, they didn't understand it. You see, the thing is, you don't need to fully understand a technology to use it. At the time of Atlantis, for example, our wonderful ancestors turned Earth into a refugee world. So many different types of being would come and go. And so if you're transporting refugees, you're going to soften the security protocols of the stargates. Meaning somebody's stolen a loaf of bread. That really doesn't matter if they're facing genocide. And so with the final fall of Atlantis, the third and final time, they couldn't put Humpty Dumpty together again. And so the stargates were left without their custodians. And the Anunnaki started using them. And you know what? Well, we're using them. We own them. Well, we made them. Who's going to know? Same thing. They claim everything is theirs. I think, you know, the recent, well, not very recent, it's not 20 years old, Stargate, the series. The Anunnaki are pretty much shown as the Goa'uld. Parasitic life forms. They use the life force of other beings to extend their own miserable existence. And they claim everything is their invention. They're pretty brilliant. Don't get me wrong, but they're not the only game in town. The cat is an archetype of life, like the humanoid. And it seems that when the problem of evolution and survival is presented to any intelligent and dynamic system of predictive modeling, like natural evolution, similar solutions are discovered. So the reptilian archetype of life, ultimately leading to dragons, very common. Feline form of life, leading to the evolution before Earth of the Lyran civilization, fairly common. Same evolutionary path was also rediscovered or reused Earth. So going back to common ancestors 24 million years ago, tiny little rodent, like too much energy, oh, boom, boom, I'm going out and I'm messing with the internet. Okay, so it's common. It's common. Breathe, you can do it. Yes. So these Anunnaki, they come along, they see the spiritual traditions of the peoples of Earth, and they understand that humanity is aware of states of consciousness, like Shiva, representation of divine masculine, or Shakti, representation of divine feminine. And they come in, start messing with the peoples, and they call themselves Shiva. So they're not that state of energy. They're just a parasite wearing a mask, messing with humanity in the most psychotic and brutal way, and this has not stopped until the present time. And you know what? There's not going to be a court. There's not going to be any peace and reconciliation. They're going to be removed. And so those states of consciousness, for example, the embodiment of divine feminine, that has never been unavailable to humanity. And even through these distorted religions and belief systems, If your heart is pure, you still connect to source. They have no say in this.
Mhm.
So even in modern day Abrahamic religions, you see people, for example, people that are Muslim, they pray 5 times a day with a pure heart. They wash the body. They fast. They don't steal. They don't lie. That's living good. What source of all sources would ever have a problem? They ascend. Same in Christianity. Little old lady going to church, helping the poor, observing Lent, refraining from drinking alcohol, being modest. What source of all sources would have problem with this beautiful soul? Same in Judaism, same in Buddhism. Hey, you think Buddhism is clear? You gotta listen to some of this nonsense these Buddhist monks are saying. It's awful. Yeah, or the gurus in India who ask you to massage their feet with aromatic oils, and I'm gonna stop right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see, distortion exists everywhere.
Mhm.
It's a matter of purity of heart and intention whether or not you are deemed worthy for ascension. Well, if a tree can do it, so can we.
Well said, well said. And all of the control and domination, manipulation, that's the true connectivity cannot be touched.
Never can be touched. They may mess with your head.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
But when you just go inside and listen to the heart and listen to that spark of divine within, it makes no difference. And so many of these beings, when they face a recently awakened human, they take the shock and awe approach. Look at this technology that we have used against you for 100 lifetimes, and we've technically knocked you out every time. And so the answer is, I don't care. I'm connected to source.
Right. Yeah.
We are the technology.
Yeah. True that. Well, I think I want to just bring to your attention that we're almost at the top of the hour. You wanted to keep this to 1 hour sessions. I have 40 more questions.
So that means we've got more episodes coming.
I think so. So I'm going to bypass the questions that have come up from your discussion. Maybe we can funnel them into the next episode. And I want to give you a chance to speak more about what we promised to bring today, and that is information about the dragons and about the Nordic, the runes, the 9 realms. So
Understood.
I will leave it to you to begin that. Obviously, we're not going to finish that today either. And
when I'm breathing like this, I'm leaving the body.
yes. Don't completely go, because we still have 10 minutes.
Yes. You need to, hey, you gotta have a little plate of cheesecake. That'll ground the hell out of me, yeah?
Always.
Yeah, cheesecake, that'll do it.
For you, always.
Life is everywhere. Everything is consciousness. And so depending on the volume of identity and memory, different packets or different individual beings can come into existence. The greatest volume, which is in fact a contradiction or paradox in the initial definition that I made, meaning that it is completely free of identity, would be consciousness risen from the divine void. And so it is a domain of infinite possibility, none yet consolidated into manifestation, containing all the energy each and every one of these possibilities will ever need for manifestation to occur. So usually beings that rise from the primordial divine void are founder beings. And one of the most common forms that they take is dragon. Seems to be the smoothest type of body, most suitable for every type of environment, whether you are swimming in the molten surface of the sun, or as we have right now, because we're going to have to talk about inner earth civilizations, the outer core of the earth is molten, and yes, we have fire dragons swimming in the lava, as happy as can be, completely oblivious to the dumpster fire raging on the surface of the planet. They're doing their own thing. So guaranteed unnatural evolution is a little tiny little speck in the glory of Mother Earth. There are versions of being that are completely naturally evolving. And so the evolution of the insectoids and the jellyfish, this is separate from the matrix, has nothing to do with it. So evolution may happen from top down. It also may happen from bottom up. The top-down version would be beings already evolved, gaining a position of being multi-universal. And so when a prime creator invites them in, at the very beginning, you've got an empty plot of universe, and you need some help to establish the laws of the universe, how reality is established. Are we using duality or trinity? Or a quadratic formation? In this universe, there's duality, the yin and yang, leading to 8 elements and 64 siddhis. Well, this isn't willy-nilly. Mathematics come in. There needs to be a scaffolding of reality. Golden dragons come in. You need then to bring in or migrate souls from other places before life can start growing in the new universe. So in those terms, most of the founder beings are dragon. But again, as we mentioned, once life starts evolving, that common pattern, that common solution amongst many viable solutions, which is the reptilian form of life, ultimately leading to dragon form, also has emerged here on Earth. So we have Earth dragons. So consciousness flows, again, as above, so below, round and round and round we go. And then we come to the Norse tree of life. This is kind of spectacular. I think in their wisdom, earlier ascended masters left enough crumbs for us to follow the trail and find our way home. It is by no means complete. It is very wonky, and yet it does the job. So in engineering, we've got a term of acceptable error. If you're building a dinner table, an error of 1 millimeter is acceptable, because who the hell cares? Okay, 1 millimeter here or there, yes. But if you're building a contact lens that has to match the cornea, 1 millimeter error is unacceptable. And so in order to model this flow of consciousness, this is not a perfect model. This is not complete. But sometimes a model, despite its error margin, is feasible, it's acceptable. And so the 9 realms, they describe a natural system of wormholes connecting to Earth. Now, usually Earth that is going to evolve bottom up starts from the mineral kingdom. Our beautiful guardian neighbors in these massive guardian crystals are an example of this. But you don't really need to go too far. Hold any crystal in your hand and you will become aware of its sentience or its capability to hold sentience. Then we've got organic life. This has to be initiated by a seed, an archetype seed planet like Earth. So she's given the first cell. It's all maternal DNA. Then maybe a father shows up, the son. But if he doesn't show up, mother's got us. So we don't need sunlight to evolve. Many of the dragons that come from the void are blind. They have no idea what light is. Who the hell is light? Because first we have the void, and then underneath we have sound. When the vibration of sound picks up pace, we have light. So it's 2 neighbors down. They're living in the penthouse. They operate on pure consciousness. So the 9 realms are the realm of the void, the Asgard, the realm of the Aesir. The other side, also realm of the void. These are dimensions positive 13 and negative 13, actually beyond those. The realm of hell. So Asgard and hell. We've got the light and dark elves. These are beings of dimension 6 to 9 and -6 to -9. Dwarves, elves, those sexy bastards. Yes, they build beautiful stuff. Even their weapons are gorgeous. And then we've got the realm of giants, and we've got the realm of the Vanir, or the Lyra. So Freya, which is the divine feminine in the Norse tradition, would be one of the Urma, or one of the Lyra, feline people. But then in lower realms, the other side of the tree of life, we would have canine beings like Anubis. Asgard, Hell, Jotunheim for the giants, and Vanaheim for the seer or the Lyra. Then we've got realms of ice and fire. Again, as soon as Earth arrived, the fire elementals started squatting. Hey, this is molten. Oh, it's so nice. Let's live here. They're living here until this day. They've got squatters' rights. They've been here longer than any species existed. So, by all intents and purposes, Earth is their home too. And so, light elves and dark elves, Asgard and Hell, light and dark elves, ice and fire, and then the realm of giants and realm of the Vanir. So these are 9 realms. These are connected all to each other through a natural network of wormholes. These are natural. Stargates aren't needed. Stargates are technology. So these are natural, let's say, vortices in the fabric of reality that connect these worlds. So the Asgard, Black Dragon. The Vanir, White Dragon, Angelic, Urma, beings of ice, water elementals, and crystalline. Beings of fire, modern day genie. Giants, well, we still find their skeletal structure all over the planet. They can come and go. The dwarves and the light elves, well, they've made it into the legend. They kind of see humans as crazy. They kind of avoid us. We're too savage. If we capture them, we'll either force them to dance in a circus at the end of a cattle prod, or we'll barbecue them. So they avoid us. The realm of hell, there's not fire and brimstone. It's another dimension of rest, incorporated into the cycles of afterlife. So a proper life review will give you access to either Asgard or Hell. Neither good, neither bad. I've been both places. They're very interesting. And so a natural, let's say, collection of domains, planetary systems, each in a different part of the universe, really, each under different natural laws, all following the same laws of physics. And we're all available to each other.
Wow. There are so many mic drops in today's transmission. I can't keep track of them all, and I want to continue this and continue this and continue this. We have come to the top of the hour, Dr. Amir. I'd like to, however, push the envelope just a tiny bit and ask the question that I mentioned to you that I really wanted to ask. And we can then close if that's in alignment with you. There is beings that have evolved alongside the human, and we have ridden on their backs. They have supported us. They have taken us into battles. They have carried our burdens, and they have incredible healing powers, etc. And according to my other esteemed teacher, George Kavasilas, the horse is carrying the evolutionary signature of dragons. And when you whisper this into a horse's ear, they go, Augie, and oh, thank you for seeing that.
that which Source whispered to the rose, causing it to laugh into full-blown beauty, is now whispered to me, causing my heart to bloom into 100 times greater perfection. The horse is us. Going back 94 million years, we've got a common ancestor. And the horse was not meant to be part of the matrix. It came in after the fall of Lemuria, becoming entangled out of love. They are powerful healers. And so using them in healing, energetic healing, enhances the quality of this, going back in time, forward in time, in other time streams, and so on. So they are our family, close family. And yet when they entered, initially, humans said, oh, these are strong. Let's friggin' ride them. Typical human, huh? Mm-hmm. And so this would happen in the steppes of Mongolia, moving then to the southern coast of the Caspian Sea, where ponies are naturally occurring. Ponies are vicious, huh? Don't look at their little size, they'll bite you. So they're meant to be companions. They did take great burden off our shoulders, and in return we have repaid them with great malice and cruelty. Not just riding them, not just drinking their milk, but also eating them. That's on us. But their act of love still remains as an act of love. And so those primary codes, they still understand human language. This is not a linguistic thing, it is an energetic thing. And if a human has a healthy heart, we will understand them also. Soul family coming in the most innocent form. And yet they have also graduated. They're one of the graduates of the Matrix. Their graduation happens after the whales. In this form, it is fairly recent. So they graduated around 100,000 years ago, turning into the winged horse, the horse with the horn, the unicorn. That's also another archetype of life. One of the ascended masters would be the sacred horse. Mm-hmm. Now, something comes up that I would never think I would speak of in a million years. There are legends of these ascended masters allowing special humans to ride on their back, and they would take you places. Mm-hmm. Namely, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Mm-hmm. There's the story of the Ascension. And so instead of sending an angel, one of these ascended masters came in, showing him different domains of reality. So this is one of the things of contention from the complete atheists. Oh, winged horse, ha ha ha. No. This is not a matter of physicality. This is high spiritual content. And if you see a unicorn, you are blessed. Again, there's other legends of these beautiful ascended masters in the Hindu tradition, where their presence is a gift to the rider. Come, let me carry you on my back and let me show you the wisdom of the cosmos, you stupid human. Just shut up and hang on.
Well, I'll tell you something. This is these wiser words could not have been spoken to me in terms of these conversations. Just shut up and hang on is pretty much all I can do speaking with you.
Hey, are you calling me a unicorn?
I'm calling you a unicorn. It's official. Oh.
As long as you feed me hay and cheesecake, I'm
cheesecake,
happy.
exactly. Oh, Dr. Amir, thank you so much for
It's my honor. No, thank you. See, you're the driver.
Oh,
I'm just the Flintstones guy pedaling with my feet. Yeah, you're driving, so thank you.
no. I just shut up and hang on. That's it. Oh, so thank you once again for another incredible, illuminating chat where I'm
honored. Thank you.
I'm learning that that you bend the world around the spoon.
Yes, there is no world. There is a spoon. There is no world.
Another mic drop. Another mic drop. Thank you, Dr. Amir. Thank you.
It's my honor. Thank you, my wonderful friend. This is turning out to be really, really fun. I hope our audience also get a kick out of it.
I hope
nothing is written in stone. Violations in timeline technology have occurred. Again, mostly by the frickin' pirates. Going back into different eras. First of all these little bubble realities are contained. They've been exposed to a comprehensive divine audit, and they're insulated. Think of them as a evolutionary dead end. They're going nowhere, and they have no effect on timelines, so they don't really exist.
There you go. Blowing my mind again. Thank you so much.
It's an honor. Thank you.
Viewers.
Thank you.
It's mine, and
the honor is mine too.
We'll see you in cheesecake heaven.
Yes, please. To be continued.
Next time. Thank you.
Next time, indeed. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye for now. Bye-bye.